So welcome to Cooking with Heart for Diabetes Class 3. So I can't believe that we're already at Class 3. This is a really key topic, understanding processed food and why it is hard to put down. So a lot of interesting things to understand before the hour's over. We're going to also do one of my favorite recipes. So, and I made plenty to make sure everybody was going to have a chance to eat tonight. So, we're triple powered smoky tortillas. So it's got 3 layers that have multi-use. So, and we're going to use a corn tortilla and a flour tortilla, and I'll explain more why that is later. And then we're going to do a mouth-watering microwave frittata. So it's a really easy on-the-go kind of, you can either do it breakfast or dinner, and it's a great way to get some vegetables in, some good lean protein, and it's really tasty. So we're going to do that next week. We're going to talk about heart and how it's connected to diabetes, because once you're diagnosed with diabetes, you are instantly become a heart patient, okay, nowadays. So, and there's some good reason for that. So I want to explain kind of what that connection is to heart. So it'll become much clearer. And we're going to do salmon overnight oats. So if you're doing oatmeal and you're a little bored of it, we got some spruced up, great, delicious ideas next week. So super easy. Let's see here. I'm hearing just a tad. I'm just going to make sure we're all muted there online. I think maybe it's just my ears. There we go. Okay. So I know it's okay. So big thank you, of course, to Genesis, to Trinity Foundation, and to the Quad City Diabetes Association. They make these classes possible to put out in the community at no charge. So we're very thankful for them. I do want to introduce a guest that is here to say some really inspiring words about some resources that you have in the community and, well, the kind of health community here. So let me get Donna, have her highlighted so you can see her. There we go, Donna. You should be, you're the screen highlight. There we go.
And I'm unmuted, right? You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming to Teresa's class tonight. Hi. I'm one of the registered dietitians. I work in Rock Island campus, and I also work with diabetes education. So I'm also a diabetes educator. And these classes are really terrific. And by the way, Teresa, I need your cauliflower pomegranate recipe. I can't find mine. So
okay, I'll send that.
Okay, but anyway, I just find that these classes are so inspiring, and what we all want to know is how to eat more healthy for our diabetes. But eating is one huge component. But as you're learning from Teresa, there's other components too, as far as activity. And then there's another one that medication happens to be one of the components for helping you live healthier lifestyles with diabetes. So one way we know if you're taking medications, if those medications and your activity and your lifestyle as far as planning meals is working, is doing the dreaded blood sugar checking. Some people are, really good at doing that, and some people sort of falls away from it. Or I have some patients who don't like the numbers, so they just stop checking. And I always try and reinforce with people that the number does not define who you are, or if you're a person with diabetes who's good or bad. It's basically just a tool for us to help decide, is what you're doing working? So it's important that you do try and keep up with checking blood sugars and bringing those values to your doctor's office so that your physician can help you make choices as far as what your medications are or if they need to be changed. My mom would always lie about if she was taking her medication, and then they just kept increasing the medication. So that can get a little dangerous. So just make sure you're really straightforward with your doctor about your frequency of taking it. Everybody forgets to take meds from time to time. And so you might be getting higher numbers if you don't have a routine yet as far as how to take those medications regularly. So I think that's all about I have for tonight. And I hope you guys have a wonderful class. And I do use Teresa's recipes. So yeah, don't forget cauliflower pomegranate salad.
Okay, I
Okay,
will, Donna.
thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you. So Donna is, like she said, she's one of the diabetes educators. She's a dietitian and educator for diabetes. You can, she's with Unity Point. You've got a resource like the second page in your binder of the Genesis and Unity Point clinics. So she's one through Unity Point. Ellen is one through Genesis that I've worked with. She's fabulous. So please make sure you take advantage of this. It's like a gift being, left unwrapped and never opened up and enjoyed. So you get inspired when you go and visit the diabetes educators in this area. So, okay, well, I want to hear from you guys. So I want to hear the sort of things that you learned. So you can look at your action sheet maybe to kind of refresh and think about what you learned from what you intended, or just, some things that you tried out without even intention that are different from before. So what were your learnings?
I learned that I don't have any of these ingredients in my home. Black beans, cilantro. I usually have raspberries.
Okay, awesome.
And I'm kind of homebound, so I have to wait until my homemaker comes to get my groceries to get this on my list so she can bring them to me so I can try them out. So it's a little slower process for me.
Okay, well, using some planning, and it's going to take a little trial and error, Judith. You're going to start doing some planning, and then you're going to forget something. You're going to be like, okay, so do I need a list of things that I always have on hand? What would be on that? And you're going to have to do trial and error to figure out what's going to go on there. Tonight, the good thing is, like, the black beans is something you can have around, Dijon mustard, the spices, and you can use these, the kind of the elements of what we're doing for other dishes too. So if you like the flavors. So, but thank you for sharing. So it is a journey. So it's not going to just happen in 1 week that you're going to have all this nailed for you. So, but it's going to be well worth it. And all those baby steps are going to add up, Judith. So thank you so much for sharing. You're on the road to better health for sure.
For sure.
Other
for
sharings?
Sure.
Other sharings. Yes. Flo.
Been fixing snacks in advance so that, I go to sewing class stuff, and if I'm running late, at least I have fresh fruit or certain things that I can eat. And I've been following some of the recipes, making the salads, making a little dish of salad. It really helps when it's prepared in advance.
Wow. Awesome, Flo. Did you guys virtually hear Flo? Were you able to hear that?
Oh, yes, I could hear her.
Okay, Judith did, and I'm getting a no from Carolyn. So Flo shared that she has really been focusing on preparing snacks and having them ready on hand. And she really is finding you had a sewing class, you said?
Yes.
And so she's just, planning and knowing that she's going to come back hungry, those sort of things, and you have something prepared. So that's, when you have it prepared, do you have it, Flo, if I might ask, is it in an area where you're seeing it? How are you remembering to even eat it?
Because I do.
As she's not great to move there.
And at noon, everybody reminds each other, I have my little lunch bag right by my sewing machine.
Oh, so you bring it with you.
and I can't miss it.
Okay, well, she had, okay, I bet it's a beautiful little bag that you have there next to you. So, okay, so she,
One
okay,
smart
so she
cookie.
has it with her. She's taking it with her. Awesome, awesome. So playing around, just again, what's working for Flo may not work for Carolyn, Judith, for Deb. You know, you're going to have to figure out what works for you. So it's trial and just even moving an inch, it's going to add up. Just figuring those things out, guys. So, and yes, sometimes the grocery store will not stock what you want and or what you were looking for. They'll discontinue it, different brand. You have to read it. That's all part of the fun of this. So you're going to find then another product that maybe is even better or a new combination that you're going to like a lot. So, you know, just keep that, you know, that open mind that you're going to find something. So awesome, Flo. Thank you. I see, it looks like somebody in the chat shared something there.
Amy said she loves the snack jar with the carrots and hummus.
Oh, awesome. The snack jar, the little mason jar with the hummus and the snack jar. And who was it here that suggested, somebody suggested here that you use the garlic dip with the yogurt in there and do vegetable sticks. I was like, fabulous. I never even thought of that. So see, you guys are just so smart. So love it. Let's see, I see Patrick says, I have some of the ingredients, but the wrong things like black beans. I don't have the no or low salt versions. And I have regular balsamic vinegar from different recipes I've made in the past. Okay, we'll talk about, you know, you can use the different vinegars today. And I'll talk about the pros and cons. Thank you for bringing that up, Patrick. And you know what? Sometimes it takes getting the wrong thing to really then nail it the next time. So, okay. So Patrick, you're going to get there. You're out trying. So that's what I love hearing about, guys. Just try. Whenever you start anything, you are going to fall down. I mean, think about it. You know, if you watch a toddler learning to walk, they are more falling down than they are standing up. But that doesn't discourage them. They know they're going to figure it out and they keep at it. And each person, you know, each toddler that learns to walk a different way. Some of them are walking around the room, holding on to things, and then finally they go free. And some of them are crawling. So, you know, your journey is going to be different and you're going to have to fall and pick up differently, but you're going to get there. It's going to go smoother. And you'll just, then, you know, the beginning, there's a lot of, you know, just playing around. And then you start to get some momentum and you still are on that journey. So I'm on the journey. So thank you. Okay, planted lots of herbs to try, Carolyn. I'm jealous. Oh my goodness. That's awesome. Oh, you're just going to be like so inspired watching them grow of all the dishes you get to make now. So there's a lot of substitutions that you can do. So awesome. Any other things? Mary? Okay. Ooh, awesome. You have a large. Wow.
Get to share.
Oh, so you two share? Oh, there we go. Okay, guys, you got to get to know Mary.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like Carolyn too. So, okay, awesome. I love it. Well, I have a
in-town Trader Joe's.
yes, there we go. Then we just need to start a little market there, Mary. So awesome. Okay. Well, today I want to get going on ultra processed food because we're going to do a mindful eating exercise. So those of you guys at home, I just want you to have like 2 of something. It works really well to have 2 raisins or 2 chocolate chips, something like that. Just something small so that you can go through, or a couple bites of something. So just so you can go through, we'll do it at the end of the PowerPoint slide, we'll do a mindful eating exercise. So, okay, let's hop on over there. I'm going to share my screen. Now we're talking about processed food. And so I want to start off with definition. So technically a processed food is any food that's been changed in any way, deliberately changed before we eat it. So that could be washing, bagging, canning, cooking, freezing, dehydrating, milling. So, so even, the apples, the onions, those are technically processed that you're seeing there. But what we're really talking about is ultra processed that we really want to be aware of. And ultra processed is where you're not recognizing the whole foods that went into it, and it's got added fat, sugar, and salt. Okay. So now, of course, these are ultra processed foods, high in salt, sugar, and fat. We can't recognize the whole foods that went into these. Now, popcorn, actually, I just noticed that popcorn, I would call that, depends on what we put on top, but popcorn actually can be a whole grain snack. So I just want to caution there. So it's stripped of these phytochemicals that I've talked about before that have a lot of benefit to them, and fiber. So, there's just so many gifts that it's stripped of. Now, there was a study that was done back in just before COVID, like 2020. Would that be like just before COVID? So Eric Hall at the National Institutes of Health, he must be some big guy there, because high up, because he back in around 2015, 16, 17, there was a lot of humbug in the nutrition world about ultra processed food is the problem. We need to really get a handle on this. And he was like, humbug. It's not the ultra processed food. So I'm going to do a study on it. So he got the dorm at the National Institutes of Health. I'm like, wow, okay. So he got subjects to stay a month in the dorm. So they got $5,000 each to stay in the dorm for a month. So, and what they did they had 2 weeks on one eating plan, and then they switched. So that's a crossover study, and they stayed there where they controlled all their eating. So that's a really hard. It's really expensive, really hard to get subjects. So what he did is he had, for 2 weeks, subjects would eat an ultra processed diet. Okay. And then for 2 weeks, they would eat a whole food diet. So he matched and they switched them both ways. So some started out ultra processed, some started on the whole food, and he matched them so that the meals that he was serving for both types had the same calories total at each meal, the same fiber, the same sugar, the same fat. Yeah, I know. I have only seen a couple of the menus. I want to see the whole menus for this. So they said the hardest one to match actually was the fiber in the ultra process. They had to add fiber like psyllium to, some of the foods and that thing. But they were matched on that. And then they said, just, have your meal, eat ad lib, essentially is what it's called, where you just, eat. They don't give them any kind of cues, you're supposed to eat till you're full, or, just, eat, whatever. So, and they monitored what they ate, and then they took all kinds of things. And I think there's probably a lot of studies that have come out of this. They did things like they looked at their appetite hormones, they looked at their blood sugars, they looked at different things. So, but as far as ultra processed goes, what they found out, Eric Hall was wrong. Okay, ultra processed food is very responsible for weight gain and for changes in health. And here's a little bit what they found. They found that when they were on the ultra processed food, they ate 508 calories more a day. They ate 11 minutes faster. Their appetite hormones were significantly different. Their blood sugars were different. And then when they were on the whole food, they lost 2 pounds in the 2 weeks. And they weren't given any prompts that they were supposed to lose weight or be healthy or anything. So now there's a lot of theories, of course, that we now need to test that came out of the results of this. But, the thinking is, first of all, ultra processed food tends to be softer. You can eat it quicker, a higher amount of calories, which means it's harder to eat according to the evolutionarily given bodies we have. And we'll talk more about this in a moment. So, so you're going to eat more food with less fiber. Your blood sugars are going to be different, and it's going to be easier to overeat. So, given the bodies that we have. So, okay. Now let's dig a little bit into what happens with our brain. Now, you might have heard, ultra processed food, eating is similar, is like eating ultra processed food is similar to an addiction. And I want to be careful, we're treading on some dangerous ground when we start to say that, but I get the point. I say it's sort of like an addiction. It's kind of in that area. I wouldn't call it the same as an addiction to, alcohol, to smoking, to cocaine, things like that. But here's the thing that we do know. We do know the brain lights up with ultra processed food, your reward center and pleasure center, much like it does under an addiction circumstance. So it's not identical. I wouldn't say it's identical, but it's similar. So, it's like, you can't compare it head on. It's like saying apples and oranges. They're fruit, but they're not identical. Okay. They've got some same properties, and we can kind of classify them together because we like to group things and label things, but they're not identical. Okay. So, but here's the thing that's really dangerous with eating. We have to eat. And we're faced pretty much with eating 3 times a day. So it's very easy to fall in the trap of eating ultra-processed food. Plus, it's not regulated advertising like it is for cocaine, okay? So, and marketers know that, and they take advantage of that, okay? We only need a little nudge to act impulsively since we're bombarded with food marketing. What time of the day are we more likely to act impulsively, guys? Evening. Anybody know why? Well, snacks, yeah. So eating
before you go to bed.
like something you go to bed,
Tide me over to the morning.
tie you over to the morning because you got some hunger signals. Yeah. Less stress. Okay, you're getting there, you're getting close. All these things are true, but the really big thing has to do, stress is definitely, we're going to talk about that. But if you just go day to day, person to person, we start in the morning with a full tank of mental energy is the best way of saying about it, but it's our prefrontal cortex. It's the newest part of our brain that gives us strategic thinking power. It's the thing that helps you make good decisions, okay? Decisions on behalf of your values, let's just say. And it helps you filter out those things that if you said, you get in really bad trouble, maybe even kicked out of the house, okay? So they're there, we all have that, but we don't say them, okay? But when the prefrontal cortex is gone, that tank gets emptied throughout the day. The more decisions you make, the more quickly that gets emptied. That's why you hear CEOs like Mark Zuckerberg wears the same thing every day, guys. He has a closet full of things the same, okay? Because they don't have to make a decision. Because they don't want to use their decision power on what they're going to wear. You and I, we have to use a little bit of decision power on that, okay? So, but by the end of the day, we're out of this prefrontal cortex. And our older brain kicks in, and it's called the limbic. And guess what the prominent thing about the limbic is? Emotion, impulse. Yeah, so that's one of the main reasons. And that's why when I'm working with my 19-year-old son, he's doing some learning experiences this summer. He just had his first year of college. He doesn't have a job yet this summer. Now, there's a lot of different ways you could go at this, okay? I'm just saying, I have temptations there. But I also know he needs to learn to deal with his brain and his decision making and the consequences. So he's learning about planning, okay? He's learning that planning works. So same works with eating, planning, just like Flo, she shared. So, okay, so food companies since the 60s have used, they don't have a nutritionist at the table, guys, when they do a new ultra processed product, okay? They don't employ people like me. Instead, they employ marketers, flavor experts, psychologists, flavor architecture people, psychologists, because they're trying to figure out how to sell us more. They want us to even eat when we're not hungry. Our body is really good at telling us when it's hungry and when it's full, but that can be overridden. Food companies strategize to sabotage this. In the 60s, there was a phrase, I don't know if you remember with the potato chips, that you can't just eat one. You remember that? I can. So, you know, the problem is this wasn't a problem for millions of years, guys, or hundreds of thousands, wherever your timeline is. But it's been a problem for the last 60 years. Because food is available at all times and processed foods are available in front of us. So continually in front of us. So overeating has become an everyday thing. Now, when manufacturers create flavors for products, ultra processed products, they know the taste has to dissipate quickly. There's a actual 60 Minutes episode. It's pretty old. It's got some of the classic interviewers on it. But what I forget what his name is, but he took these flavor profile experts out to an orange grove in Florida, and they picked off an orange and they peeled it open and they ate one of those segments. And the interviewer said, well, you know, is this a flavor that you would imitate in a new product, possibly? I mean, it was a delicious, right off the vine orange. And, you know, everybody loved the taste, but they said, no, oh no, we would never copy this. And he was like, why? He's like, and they said, because it dissipates too slowly, the flavor. If you want to create a craving or a hit profile, you have to have it go very fast, dissipate, hit you and dissipate, because then you crave another hit. So the flavor profile has to disappear very quickly. All in the grocery store, a lot of the things there are intended to get us to impulse buy. There's bright lights, music, things like that. They are trying to trigger some of our kind of stress signals in a way. You may not feel like super stress going. I'm just saying these are things that can, in the right conditions, kind of put you into more impulsivity buying. So they will, this is all about getting you to buy more and more. So now many of your favorite foods taste good, but also satisfy and stimulate our brain's desire for reward, for pleasure. We have a pleasure center in the brain, and a lot of activities trigger that. I'll keep it G-rated, but you know what I'm talking about. Big food companies know this. The flavor and the texture combinations, in what sequence, they know to push your buttons to get the most response in your pleasure center. And we're not talking about like 5 different combinations. Some products have had over 400 different trial runs till they got the right bliss point. And we're not talking whole food ingredients in there. Our pleasure center isn't satisfied with just, one experience. The problem is the body reacts to the reward and not the calories or the nutrients. The pleasure center of your brain does not care if you're eating 300 calories or 5,000. It's all about seeking more pleasure. Now, you probably can't recall ever overeating broccoli. There's good reason for that. It's not its taste, guys. I know that's what food manufacturers want to say. It tastes blah. No, you've been brainwashed. It's because it doesn't elicit your pleasure center. Okay, ice cream, M&Ms, Pringles. That's a pleasure center trigger. Now, not everyone's the same. I don't want to say we're all the same. Some some are more triggered than others. So not everyone develops cravings to the same degree because we all have different levels of responses to these pleasure centers. Now, an important fact to point out is the reward centers are triggered also by stress. And this is where stress comes in. When you're stressed, this will heighten the sensitivity of your reward center. In other words, you're going to seek out things to give you pleasure reward when you're stressed. So that's going to drive you to eating things and having cravings, very likely. And again, so there's different individual responses, but your pleasure center is heightened and you are seeking that things out to satisfy that. Now, I mean, stress behavior is complex. I don't want you to think that that's the only thing that goes into it. It's also a very learned behavior. So manufacturers try to, as early as they can, get us to think that by eating ice cream and chocolate, it's going to like just fade away our problems. Okay. There's that belief that they've created. It doesn't. Okay. There is a temporary relief, but it never solves things. Okay. In and of itself. So, we get this idea that we feel calmer when we eat chocolate or, something, ice cream, but that's a false belief. So, and it can be tied into just a habit, a cue with a habit. So then it's not even doing with some of these other things I'm talking about. So, okay. So when you're in pain, your reward centers are activated and you want to do something that's in memory with your reward centers. And this includes foods that you've gotten super pleasure from in the past. You have that memory. So be aware of it. Broccoli is not imprinted as your go-to food for when you're feeling stressed or hurt or angry or even just physical pain. So what do? You want to start learning to become aware and tune into your body when you're stressed and start to ask if you're even hungry. Become aware, no judgment, just be curious. The most helpful thing you can do is be curious. And even if you end up going towards a food that you've done in the past many times to satisfy stress, to satisfy cravings, just be curious and just be aware. Don't get upset. You have to also know these behaviors serve you at one point in the past. So don't get upset at them. They aren't serving you now because now a value of yours is health. So just be curious and understand, hey, this is something I built up over years. It's going to take some time to undo. So if you can create a pause where you have an awareness that you're in a stress situation, you're feeling that kind of urge build up that you want to satisfy kind of the pain with some of these reward pleasure foods, then see if you can just change your location is one strategy. If you can do anything to create a little space, but if not, don't get angry at yourself, please. But things like meditation, abdominal breathing, yoga, walking, visualizing a favorite place of yours, gratitude. These are called mindful strategies. So if you can, but those take practice, guys. And a lot of people need to start practicing these outside of the setting of even being drawn into, I feel stressed, I'm feeling some craving, some kind of emotional pain going on. But over time, you can break these. It just takes being compassionate, curiosity. There's a guru, so to speak, Dr. Judd Brewer. He's done a lot of research in just being aware. And he's done it in smoking, he's done it in eating, and he has a whole kind of system, so to speak. But what he's found, and I do believe, is that by becoming aware, there's a payoff for these habits that you now want to stop. There was a payoff. Okay, a reward that you got, and even separate than talking about the reward center, there was a payoff for you. And it helped numb the pain. It distracted you. It felt like a friend for a second. I get that. So it served a purpose. But if you could become aware and start to taste the food and start to understand that if I eat the whole tub or half gallon or, half of this, I'm going to feel horrible in the morning. Just start being aware. He found that it takes between 6 and 11 times for somebody to be aware and repeat the activity to then stop it. Because what happens is there's a shift like a seesaw. From the payoff used to be eating whatever, the bag, the tub. That used to be a good reward for you, and it had payoff. It served a purpose. But over time, as you become more aware and curious, that weight become less and it become less of a payoff. And you realize that you were paying in other ways, through headaches, through feeling groggy the next day, through the food doesn't even taste as good as I thought it did, especially after the 20th bite. So again, this is patience, self-compassion, but he has found even with smoking and things like that, not everybody, but he has a pretty good success rate, like 70% with these kind of harder habits to quit. And again, it takes time. It just doesn't happen the first. So
Like the doctors.
Dr. Jude Brewer, Judbrewer. He's good. I follow him.
Patrick says one test to show a manufacturer's trip is to take a single Pringles chip, lick the bottom of it, and then lick the top of it. One is sweet, one is salty.
Ah, okay, I'm learning.
The once you pop, can't stop Pringles logo.
Yeah. Yes, very true, very true. Oh, thank you for sharing, guys. So mindful eating, so allowing hunger is really helpful. When you start paying attention to your hunger and fullness and you're able to allow yourself to get hungry, here's some bonuses for you, some benefits. When you allow your normal food, in other words, whole foods, tastes better. When you're not hungry, whole foods don't taste as good. They just don't. And guess what always tastes good? The ultra processed, high sugar, high salt guys. Okay. So your normal whole foods are going to taste better when you have some hunger, and your taste buds are more sensitized. That's the most sensitized they are. And it's a physiological process. It's not just accident. Your body has a rhythm, actually a circadian 24-hour rhythm of getting you hungry. Then you eat some, you fill yourself up for the next couple hours, you stop, and then it is able to break these down, digest, get them into the right places in your body, and then it gives you hunger again. It's a really nice system that evolutionarily we built up for hundreds of thousands of years. So, okay. By trying to retrain paying attention to your hunger and your fullness, you are going to start tuning out some of these, what I call external detractors from eating. Now, they'll always be there to some degree because we're emotional creatures, guys, and we want to celebrate that. So, but just know that they will get less and less as you can pay attention. And that's one thing I've refined over the years. Okay, I get hungry and full, but not over hungry, not over full. I know very well where I am. Okay, and I'm going to give you some tools for that. So now just a real quick rundown. I know we need to start cooking, but okay, there's two signals that you get for hunger. One is your stomach and one is your, and that's neural. Neural means it's your nerves, and that is super fast, okay? So when you fill up your stomach with like liquid, that's the neural. It's stretch, it's the neural is on the lining of your stomach and it's feeling the stretch. So it's reading for that. That's your first immediate feedback. Now, the one that takes longer is your hormonal, because hormonal is reading what you ate and how much. And that's happening in your small intestine. So it's not going to happen right away anyways. That's why you feel what? Fuller 20 to 25 minutes after. Okay. Anybody ever notice that? You bump up. Yeah. Try it out. Stop your meal. Put the timer on for 20 minutes and see if you feel fuller. You will. That's the hormonal signals, because your body is trying to gauge, did you give it enough fuel to survive the next few hours? If it didn't, then it's going to keep giving you some, it's not going to give you that fullness signal that you're wanting. If you overate the mark, then you're going to feel fuller. But ideally, you're going to have to, some of these things are going to wear out. It's not a super, these hormones aren't super scientific. In other words, if you ate a whole big bowl of white rice, you would feel full somewhat temporarily for maybe a half an hour, but then it's going to be gone. Your body's like, oh, that was so easy. It's already raised your blood sugar. I need more. So then you'll be hungry. So, but you have these two signals that really evolutionarily kept you alive. So we want to work with them. Okay. Internal body clock there. That's, you know, we do have like a 24-hour clock. You don't have to be perfect, because our energy, kind of our movement, our physical activity, and our emotional, all those things change a little bit day to day. But our body really seeks confidence that you're going to give it food. So a regular pattern. In other words, not skipping breakfast, sometimes eating breakfast. I'm not saying, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you have to have 3 meals every single day for the rest of your life. But I'm just saying your body is watching a little bit and it's trying to gain some confidence. If you, you know, if you change it up a little bit here and there, just so long as it's not consistent, it's fine. But you are going to run the best when you're pretty consistent with things. Of course, always listening to your hunger. You might eat, you know, we're eating different foods. Eating a little more of something because it's not as filling. It's maybe you know, a non-starchy vegetable, but still paying attention to these things. Okay, so here's the hunger scale. This is just used by a lot of nutritionists. So 1 is way too hungry, 2 is still too hungry. Okay, 3, it's a strong hunger. Okay, if you're having 2 meals a day, maybe 3, but you really 4 to 6 is really where most of us want to be with the eating pattern. Remember, we've got food all the time. Okay, we're not out, you know, hunting and gathering like we were 200, 500, 10,000 years ago. So we got food all around us. So 4 to 6 is kind of where most of us should be. We're allowing ourselves to get hungry. When you start to get hungry, you should have food 30 to 60 minutes at the most, for your body to trust you and for you to create this rhythm of feeding you, and then your body takes care of it, does some burning, ready for more. Okay, so 4 to 6. 6 means you're just getting full. 5 means I don't feel like I have food in my stomach. I don't feel full, and I don't feel hungry. I'm right there in no man's land. So 6 is where you're starting to get hungry, but you're going to bump up. So really 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you're going to be just on the tip of 7, just getting into 7. But we want to stop in 6, just starting to get full. Okay, there's a saying that 8 parts of eating, so 8 out of 10, 10 would be full. 8 parts, you want to eat to 8 parts. 8 parts are for health. If you eat to those last 2, that's for the doctor. You'll be in the doctor's office if you're eating to the 10. Okay, so and there's a culture in Okinawa where they actually, it's like part of their meal, they eat until just full. It's a cultural thing. They are wildly different than us. So Ancient Greek said, hunger was the best seasoning. Your food is, I guarantee, you want good tasting food? One of the secrets is make sure you're hungry. Okay, so a couple things to slow you down, and we're gonna go into the mindful eating. Smaller plate. If you go from a 12-inch to a 10-inch plate, you automatically, without doing anything, are going to eat 22% fewer calories. So I use the smaller. It's kind of it's actually an 8-inch plate in my set. So it is kind of small, but you know, you can get seconds. It's just that you got to pay attention. So we're filling that plate. So sometimes I will put a little bowl next to it with the salad or something. But I'm just saying, we tend to fill it. We just have this propensity to want to fill the plate. If you got a 12-inch plate, you're going to fill it. So eat mindfully. Okay, we're going to do that in a second. Chewing well. Chewing well isn't about helping your body digest. Bah humbug. Your body needs no help. Okay, it's amazing. What it is, it's the whole process. When you chew, you actually have enzymes in your mouth that start to break it down. So you want to kind of mix it there. You don't want to just swallow. And the other thing is you are telling your hormones to get ready. Okay. It's a process, guys, that we've been doing again, and we just broke it in the last 60 years. Remind yourself the next meal tastes better. So here's some action steps. Eat mindfully. We're going to do that one meal at least the next week. Find one food in the home to portion to individual portions, so you avoid overeating. Okay, so like the Triscuit box we had tonight. Those that are here, we have Triscuits. It looks like some of you might need some more Triscuits. They might need some. You want us to make sure everybody has at least 2 Triscuits to try the tasting. But Triscuits are a great example of, they only have like 4 ingredients, so they tout that as super healthy. I'm not against it, but I'll finish that when I'm on the camera. So eat beans as primary protein. We're going to have beans as part of the meal tonight. Use hunger scale. I really highly recommend you use the hunger scale for a bit. I don't actually, in my head, always say, am I a 4, a 4.5 for hunger? But I do ask myself over and over several times a day, am I hungry? Yes. Well, then in the next half an hour, I need to have some food. And I have different ways I can grab things on the go in my house. In my car, I have a very smushed bar in the glove compartment that I only eat once every maybe 6 months, but it's there so I can avoid the drive-through and get home. So, so there's all kinds of things that you do, but I'm just saying that you should be asking yourself constantly throughout the day, am I hungry? Am I full? How full am I? Am I just starting to get full? Okay, time to quit. Put down the fork. Okay. Stop eating 80% full. Okay, so let me get back here. Okay, I'm hoping that we see me. There we are. Okay, so as we get going, I do want to point out some really good lesson about the Triscuits. Okay, Triscuits, I do love Triscuits. Don't mean to beat them up, but okay, Wassa crackers. Anybody had Wassa crackers before? Okay, I have Wassa crackers at home. Okay, I love avocado and tomato. You know, it's a great carrier, Wassa crackers. They're older, I think, than Triscuit as a company, it goes. But has anybody ever eaten a whole box of Wassa crackers? Okay, if you've eaten Wassa crackers, you'd be laughing because it's like cardboard. Okay, it really is. So, it's a carrier. It's not delicious. I challenge you. You try to eat one plain. It just doesn't happen. Okay. So, but my point is the scientific research, the number of professionals that went into creating a Triscuit and a Wassa are vastly different. Okay. Triscuit, yes, it only has 3 or 4 ingredients. That's great. But the science that went into it is light years above Wassa. Because if you notice, even though it has less salt technically, which one tastes saltier? The Triscuit. Because they have very strategically put the salt crystals. Do you see them on the outside? They fit perfectly in your taste buds because they want you to get a hit of salt. So you crave another. Because 6 crackers of Triscuit is 1 serving. Okay? I challenge you to sit down with a box and keep to 6. It's not possible. Okay? So that's where I'm talking about. Anything with a box or a bag, do not sit down with it. You're not going to be able to stop. I can't stop, guys. Okay? It's not willpower, guys. It's the way we're created. So just, I'm not against Triscuit. I do have Wausau's. Occasionally I'll have Triscuits. If I have a party, I'll get them because people like them. But I know that if I get them down, I'm not going to sit there with them on the counter and start reaching in. Okay, I'm going to get out whatever I think is appropriate, whether that's 6 crackers or whatever, and put it back. So just be aware. Okay. So, everybody, stand up before we do the mindful eating activity. Let's stand up. Okay, if you want to do window washing with your hands, one direction, and go the other direction. Just got to get that blood sugar going. Okay, big stretch. Oh, that feels good. Oh, go ahead and sit down. Okay, so, all right. So that, what?
We just got it.
Yeah, I know. Steve wants to do more. So, okay. So, mindful eating. So what I want you to do at home, hopefully you have just something there, a couple bites that you can do. So mindful eating, there's like 3 things I want you to start considering when you're mindfully eating that we connect with when we truly mindfully eat. So first thing, let's just take a deep breath. There's nothing magical, but it just helps get us mindfully aware. So we're right here in the present. Okay, so first thing I want you to connect with is whatever you have there, the food. We have the Triscuit crackers here. So, these are whole grain. These were delivered from some factory, maybe on the East Coast. So just connecting with what the food is, where it was grown, how it got to the grocery store, just a minute of gratitude that we have these things available to us. Back when I was a kid, okay, things were just a little less diverse. We didn't have quite the grocery store shelf variety that we do. So I'm very thankful for all the things that we have available, even Triscuits. So just taking a moment to connect with what it is that we're about to eat and put in our bodies. So second thing is I want you to connect with your body. That means pay attention to, am I hungry or full? Do I have hunger and fullness? And sometimes it even where are you feeling? Is the hunger here? So it just really helps. I know it sounds very elementary, but it's awareness, paying attention. And you might also notice that you got some other things going on in your body, like emotions. Like we're emotional creatures, so we're going to have things going on. Do you have tension? Do you have a little bit of anxiety going on, stress, frustration left over from something that happened a couple hours ago? Just be compassionate and curious. Don't get mad at it. Just curious. Oh, wow. I'm still feeling some reeling from a couple hours ago. Or, I feel really on top of the world and full of energy. So connecting with your body. And then the last thing is we want to enjoy whatever it is we're going to eat. So go ahead and take whatever that is, the bite, the spoon, and just take it up, take a little sniff of it. See if it has anything to smell. Maybe it doesn't. And then go ahead and take a bite and just hold it on the tongue. Best you can, whatever it is, hold it. The Triscuit, you'll be able to feel the salt kind of going into your taste buds there. And go ahead and flip it around a little bit if you want to there. But again, recognizing, does it disintegrate right away? There's no good or bad. This is all being curious. So how is the texture? So is it melting instantly or is it slow? You can go ahead and take a bite if you have like a raisin. Once you hold a raisin in your mouth a little bit and then you bite it down, you can almost feel it squirt. It's really cool. So then go ahead and twirl it to the back of your mouth and go ahead and swallow and follow it down as far as you can go in your throat, down to your stomach, esophagus, as far as you can go. And swallow again if you need to swallow. So if you're eating mindfully, sometimes to slow yourself down, you're going to set your fork down, take a drink of water, just to slow you down and become more aware. It's very easy for us to get distracted and see a TV or something else or pick up a phone. So just try and keep with the present moment of eating. So what I want you to do for this next one is I want you to take a second bite, but I want you to just take it very quickly. No sniffing, just bite, swallow, don't choke, let it go down. Now, you probably paid attention more than you probably most of us would in our normal kind of go schedule. But now think about the 2 bites that you took. You took one where you smelled it, you slowly took a bite, let it sit on the tongue, you twirled it, maybe another bite, took it to the back of the mouth, followed it down. The second one, we ate very quickly, just went down. Which one did you enjoy the most?
The first,
First.
of
Most people will
course.
say the first. Now, if it's something you don't like, or you realize you didn't like, so then maybe it would be the second. But the point is that first one allows you actually to experience the food. And you know what? It's there. I don't care if it's a whole food or if it's ultra processed. You want to experience it. It's a gift that's going into your body and doing amazing things. So now I know you can't do that every meal. And it's hard to do it every bite for one meal. I get it. But what if you could, without distractions, do a couple meals a week? Or how can you incorporate this into? Can you just do the first couple bites? I don't know. I'm not here to tell you there's no way it should be. But you are going to pay attention more to your hunger and fullness if you do this. You are going to appreciate your food more. And being mindful is something where it's just, it just richens life's experiences. So it kind of teaches you how to be a little more in the present. So, and I'm not saying there aren't times where we don't have to just kind of guzzle it down and get going. We got to get through because there's just no time. I get it. I do that too. But I'm still mindful of my hunger and fullness, how much I should eat of this, at least. But it really is a really rich experience if you can sit there and at least a couple bites enjoy, and really the texture, the smell, the flavors are there. Just a whole different experience. Now, if you have trouble slowing down, another kind of hack that we talk about is on the plate. If you dish out what you think or thinking for hunger, what you're going to need to eat to get to your fullness, divide it in half. Actually divide the food half and half on the plate. And if you need to, put the half, if you get really mindlessly eating, put the half in another plate, okay? Push it away. But eat that half. And then put your fork down, whatever, and say, hey, am I hungry still? Or am I full? Or how full am I? So you start to pay attention. If you still have some hunger, if you're not at that just starting to get full, then again, divide that in half. This will slow you down so that you need to go about 4 or 5 times before you eat the whole plate. Okay. So, okay. I know we need to get going. Oh my goodness. Where did it go? Okay.
Anybody need to grab you water?
So, okay, we're gonna get going.
Okay.
So, my goodness, so many good stuff to get through. Okay, time to get some beans going. So, okay, this is the easiest ever bean recipe. So, I love it. So, if you have trouble with beans, this is one way. Beans. Let's see what way. Here's my pan. So, we're gonna throw on just a little bit, a tablespoon of oil. My extra virgin olive oil. Oops, I need to switch my cameras, don't I, guys? At home. So let me switch my cameras. So Okay, so you should be seeing my hands here. So, okay, we've got that going, and I'm going to add. First thing we're gonna do is the red onion. I'm gonna cut this up really quickly here. So I'm gonna chop off the stem, leave the root, go in half. And I'm gonna peel back the red just a little bit there, as little as I can get away with. Just peel that back there. Okay, and then half the horizontal cut back to the root, not through it. And then we're going to just follow the lines kind of down of the onion again, towards the root, but not through it. And let me push this back here real quick. And then there we go. We've got our chopped. So we're going to put that in there. And real quickly do this one. Pulling that back, horizontal cut down the lines of the onion, and then falls apart. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit. And then I've got ready here my no added salt beans. Patrick, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna tip it this way. So you can see it, but it's no added salt. It's in Hy-Vee, it's the green. Look for the green label. Okay, I'm gonna use all the water in there, all the juice. And I've got great seasonings, kind of my favorite: cumin, chili powder, smoked paprika. I love smoked paprika. So those guys here, you have to take a sniff when you come through. So chili powder, make sure it's not Tones or McCormick. They add salt, okay? So chili powder, just get another brand. And we're also gonna add some Dijon mustard, just a teaspoon and a half. And we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of lime. Lime juice, you're probably going to need to squeeze 2 because they're smaller. Remember, you can just roll it a little bit and then you can squeeze it with your hand, or go ahead. You can use spatula, or not spatula, this is a tongue, to put it down there and squeeze it. Okay, you don't have to buy a squeezer. So now we're going to add all that. Awesome. And well, a little metal here and there. Won't hurt us, right? Okay.
Nothing.
Yes. Okay. So there we go. So we're gonna let that cook. It's gonna thicken down. And those of you at home, look at, I made this just like an hour and a half ago. This is a double batch. It thickened up. It's so delicious. So that's all ready to go. So, okay. So let me clear this off. I'm going to learn how to cut a red onion or a red pepper real quick for the next layer. Okay, thank you. So, okay, down there. And so let's see, here's my next 2 layers. Now the beans you can eat just as beans. You can add this to anything. These beans are really good. So, okay, we're going to grab cutting board here. Okay, so pepper, really easy to cut. You should be able to cut one in like 1 minute or less. So think of the pepper like a box. It's got a top, a bottom, and sides. So we're just going to cut off the top, the bottom, put it up, and we're going to open up the side. So we just take the knife down and open it up. So I'm going to open it up like this. Now to get off the piffy. To open up, to get the piffy part off, it's tempting to like take your paring knife or your knife and go like those 3 little places there. No, I'm going to tell you easier. Just think, I'm going to go flat like this. So take the knife, hold it there, and just go like this. You're just holding it flat there. It's going to be easier, and you'll get more of the piffy, and it's just safer actually. You just keep the edge of the knife down there, going like that. Now, I flip it over. I want flat, so I can go Okay, so that way you should be able to do 3, 4 in, just a few minutes. That's what I do on the weekend. I do 4 peppers to roast. So, okay, this is the next layer. We're going to just cook that up with, oh, I added all the onion in there. Oh, well, that's okay. We got onion there. So we're just going to cook these up. I forgot to save part of the onion. So we're going to add that there. So we're just going to have lots of onion in our beans. So we like that, don't we? You can use a yellow, a sweeter onion if you want to, but the red onion has the bite to it. It also, that red means, it tells me the bright color on any fruit or vegetable tells me it has antioxidants, guys. Okay, now there's all kinds of good stuff and stuff that don't have bright colors. I don't want you to like downplay cauliflower and yellow onions and things like that. But when we see bright color, we know that it has antioxidants. That means it donates a electron to the free radicals to keep those, to help keep us from damage. So, okay, so I'm going to grab another real quick. This is going to be real quick. So we just got a little bit of the pepper. I've also got a bunch of pepper I already did ahead of time because I want to make sure we all have plenty of food here. So we're going to do that. And then just, if you can watch that, just cook those up for a few minutes. Okay, last layer, cabbage. So all these layers are really good. I had a couple, they must have been in their late 70s. And she had something at night, some meeting, and he was there. He was like, I could see him right front center on the camera, and he was watching. And it was this dish, and he made it for her. So that when she got home from her meeting, it was all done. And they both were like, I couldn't believe cabbage could be that good. So I was like, she did it just right. So it's just really simple. These are these different layers, but I want you to start thinking of different ways you can use them. So the cabbage, I already have 4 cups because I'm making a double batch for us tonight. So, but I want you to know how to cut it. The cabbage is usually tight on the outside. I did rinse it. You can take off the outer couple leaves if you want to, but it should be really tight, so it shouldn't be letting things and dirt in there. So I'm going to cut this right through the core there, and we're going to cut it again into a quarter right through that core. And just like cauliflower, you're going to see this is the core here. And now once you get quarters, you see the triangle. Can everybody at home see the triangle there?
Yes.
So now I'm just going to cut off that triangle. Once I cut off that triangle, I've got most of the core. Now this one is not what I'd call the best looking cabbage ever. So, and the reason I know that is because it's airy. It's not as tight. It's a little older, okay? And so, but we're not going to use this. So, but I'm just saying, I just got this, so I'm not sure what happened along the way, but this should be tighter. It should when I break it open. But you just want to get rid of the core, and once you get rid of the core, you can set it again using that flat edge, and you can just chop, 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 chop. Most people like pretty finely chopped cabbage to kind of sprinkle throughout. So what I've got here is I've got my distilled vinegar. Now, Patrick, if you want to use your balsamic, you can. What is going to be the issue if he uses his balsamic? I've got sugar. I don't know. Oh, I didn't add the sugar. We'll add the sugar there. So what if he used balsamic?
Color.
The color is going to be the biggest thing. Exactly. Who said that? Okay.
I know from, I used it on my cauliflower.
Ellen. Okay. Yes. Okay. What's your first name?
Yeah.
Leanne. Leanne said she used the regular balsamic in the cauliflower salad, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't look as pretty. So yes. So that's the problem, Patrick, you're going to run into. It's a strong vinegar, but white vinegar is up there strong too. So I don't think, if you can stomach strong, Patrick, you'd be okay flavor-wise. You can use white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and if you don't like that strong vinegar, rice vinegar is your kind of mellowest vinegar. Just make sure it's not seasoned, because thank you. Sometimes it says that it's seasoned and they add salt, of course. So you don't have to heat this up, but I like to heat it up to to dissolve the sugar a little bit before we add it to the cabbage there. So I'm just going to stir that up. It's dissolved. Got my cabbage. So I'm going to stir that. It just gives a little cabbage that's nice, that because cabbage alone, I'm not really going to snack on cabbage. I don't know about you, but I'm going to pick up a little bit of that bitterness. So, but the stronger vinegar is going to be good match with a little sweetness from the sugar. So, and I'm not concerned about the blood sugar with that little bit of sugar. You can use an artificial sweetener if you want to. That's perfectly fine. But I'm just saying, especially when I have the vinegar usually grabs onto about 20%, slowing down the release into the bloodstream. Plus, I have all the fiber here with the cabbage, so I'm not really concerned. So we want the combination of great taste with whole foods. Okay, so there's our layer there. So we've got this layer, we've got our, yeah, go ahead and dump that in there. Let's dump this in here so we can warm this up for everybody here at home. So if you can see there, look how pretty that is. And we've got the red pepper. I had done that before. So we've got our colorful red and orange peppers there. So you know we have antioxidants in there, and the beans. So somehow it went off. That's okay. It may it's been a little picky a little bit lately. You know what? I think there's water. When there's water, moisture on this is really picky. So it's just picky that way. So let's try again. There we go. I think we're getting it. There we go. It's just picky sometimes that way. Let's do about there. Okay. So we're going to do the layering with our tortilla real quick. I'll show you, and then we'll do the frittata. So I've got, let me bring these over here. Yeah. So I've got a flour tortilla and a corn tortilla. The reason is most of us, I'm going to assume, probably are doing flour tortillas a little more than corn, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. But in general, people are going to reach for flour tortillas before the corn tortillas. Flour tortillas are packed with carbs. And there are whole wheat versions. There are some lower carb versions. Those are a little better, but they're still medium processed. Okay, they're really pretty much almost over the bridge to ultra processed. Okay, so at home, if I have tortillas, I'll just have these, because to me the whole wheats aren't really that much better. Okay, so I just want you to know that it's quite a bit of carb. I don't care if we're talking blood sugars or not. There's less processing definitely in a corn tortilla. If you look at the ingredients, it says white corn flour, cellulose gum, formic acid enzyme, trace of lime, and water. That's it. Okay. So now the problem with corn tortillas usually for people is they don't hold together. Okay. So these are typically the best that we found. Linda, the other person that works here for teaching the cooking classes, her and I have tested out as many as we can, and this has been the best. This is in the refrigerated section, okay? It's called Me Mamas. So you guys will get to try it tonight, but that's why I cut in the recipe, said 1 corn and 1 flour, just so that you can have the flour, because I know that's what most, maybe not everybody's preference is, but why don't we balance it out with 1 corn that way? So another possibility is a romaine lettuce. Okay, so you can just take a leaf and you could just layer it in there. So I just want you to know that we could do that. So I'm going to make these layers real quick. I'm just going to put a little bit. And can give me a little bit of pepper. Perfect. A little more over there. Pretty. Get some different colors. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to grab some beans. Okay. So there we go. So doesn't that look delicious? So you're getting, the flour, the corn. This should hold together. You guys be the judge tonight. So this is terrific for your body. We got all kinds of great stuff and flavors going on. So Awesome. Okay, so the frittata is a great on the go. It takes at most 2 minutes to make. So I'll whip that together. So the key is, now how many of you have cordingware? Tom, you just updated me. How many have cordingware in their cupboard somewhere? No?
Yes.
No?
Yes,
Hang on
yes.
to it, because I guess it didn't continue.
Yeah, they stopped making it.
They stopped making it, so it's gone way up in price. But this is Corningware, and it does really well. You can try other mugs; they will work, but they just take a little longer in the microwave. This just holds the heat really well. So I use this to make my oatmeal on the go. It's a great Corningware mug, so to speak. So travel mug. Okay, so it's really easy. We have a half a cup. So half a cup of the key is to chop finely your vegetables. Okay, so you can't quite see, but I have scallion there. Okay, and I have some pepper too. Okay, and on top is the broccoli. I just wanted to show you real quickly how fine I do the broccoli. So okay, you see that? That's how fine you want to do it. Okay, and you'll see in a second. So let me grab the egg white. So egg white. So we're gonna kind of cheat. You can use eggs that you separate, but 3 egg whites. It takes a half a cup plus a tablespoon of this. Now the key when you get egg whites in the carton is to make sure no salt added. Okay, so look at the ingredient list. It says egg whites. That's it. No salt. Some of them add salt. I'm just saying. So, okay, I'm gonna add in there my half a cup of veggies, and I'm gonna add half a cup of chopped spinach. Remember, spinach is a delicate leaf, so I put the paper towel right away when I got home in there. So always put delicate lettuces in a paper towel. So I've got a half cup there of that. Then I'm gonna put, I think it's a half a teaspoon of my seasoned chipotle. Nice little kick there. And then I'm gonna add my eggs. So, oh, I've already got there. Okay. So my egg whites here. Let me shake that again. I got that. So I did spray with this nonstick too. Got to spray with nonstick, sorry. Make sure, otherwise it's not gonna quite work. You're gonna see my trick in a second. So there we go. And then I'm just going to, I wish I had a fork. I don't. This kitchen doesn't have a fork. Okay, if I had a fork, I'd do this with a fork. But I'm just gonna really just, I'm almost like doing a little dance here. So I'm just really stirring that in, that egg white. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna put that in the microwave. I'm gonna start off with like 44 seconds. And then I'll go every 30 seconds. So when we're done with this, it's gonna be a baked egg frittata that I'm gonna flip out onto a plate. And then I'm gonna put just 2 teaspoons of Parmesan grated cheese. Yes, this has salt. Yes, this has saturated fat, but we're just gonna use a little bit, okay? So, and then I'm gonna use salsa. So this is the Linda's salsa, mild. So this is veggie. It has great flavor. So we're gonna put that on top. And it's just, I mean, you don't have to take it out of the mug. You could just eat it on the go, but it looks really, really nice. So it's got veggies. We've got, easily a cup of veggies. To start off your day, egg whites are great protein. So, okay, you can see here, it's a little bubbly, frothy. Looks like I did a little bubble soap. So that's the egg white. And I'm just gonna do this. Whoa, okay. So maybe not so hard. So just gonna mix it. That's why we want to very small pieces. We want to really mix it throughout. So do another 30 seconds. Now, if you usually you like to only do 3 veggies, not go crazy with like 4 or 5, because you really use up a half a cup pretty quick. So if you want to just use 1, you can. I like to get a variety. You can just pick whatever you have in the refrigerator. Now, if you use something like tomato or zucchini, those are higher water content. So you're going to just have to go another 30 seconds or so before it's done. So let me get my plate ready. I'll probably take another cycle, I think, probably to fully get done. Let's see. I'll show you what this looks like. And can you start making some more of the microwave with our things there? So I've got, these are already in half cups. So you can see we're getting close there, guys. Not quite. This is not fully cooked through. So I'm just going to, again, kind of chop into it and just mix it up. So those are already sprayed. And so a half cup and egg whites, it's a half a cup plus a tablespoon, okay, of that. And then half a teaspoon of this.
Okay.
So we got at Goodwill some more Corningware, so we got lucky. So we've got some more mugs so we can make it for you guys, so you guys can really see what this is like. So I'm just going to go ahead and press this down and do it one more time, and I should be good to go.
I'll do a half a cup in each one.
Oh, we got another one. I've got another.
Oh, okay. I was very sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so almost done. Okay, start thinking about your action plan. So what is it you want to do? Do you want to make a beans next week? Do you want to eat a meal mindfully next week? Do you want to start playing around with the hunger scale 4 to 6? Even just like I said, if you just, kind of do it pilot for like 3 days, where you put little stickies or reminders in your phone saying, how hungry am I? How full am I? Okay, when am I going to eat next? Okay, I don't want to like make this like extra work. I just want to start training, getting you trained to think about your hunger and your fullness. So it'll become automatic. Okay, I think,
They are.
actually, let's do this one more. Looks like I want to make sure. I'm just going to go ahead and put that in about 20 more seconds. We're almost there. Okay. Anticipation. So next week, heart. Really go into heart, what happens with your heart and the connection with diabetes. We're going to do salmon, super easy, and overnight oats. So great, easy things that you could do ahead too if you wanted to in mason jars. Okay. There we go.
Hey, what if you don't have one of those forms worked out?
You can use other ones. We have some others. It just takes longer.
Really, any mugs or bowls will work. Preferably
Done
just like
it
a
with
ceramic.
these.
They said.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to, they're probably gonna get a little hotter, so you have to be careful to take them out. Yes, I think so, Chris. Okay, so let's flip this. Get ready. There it is. Yay! So let's go ahead and do sprinkle on. Let's see here. I think I need to go in this one. You know what? This is, let me get a container.
That'd be good, right?
Okay, let's just do this. It's hard to get in there and do it because we've only got a little bit left. Okay, so
Teresa, I just stuffed these in, correct?
yes, and then just really whip it good.
Yep.
And finish off with a little bit of salsa there. Okay, let me finish off with just a little something to make it look good. There it is. So there we go. Look at that. Doesn't that look like a nice breakfast? So, super, you see how it tastes, guys. So God is helping us get some more so you guys can taste it. So, but yeah, so super easy. Sorry, we went way over, guys. It just, mindful eating is so important. Understanding evolutionarily how we're kind of going against how we're made so that you understand, become aware. But number one thing, have self-compassion, guys. These habits that you've done over the years that aren't serving you now, but they served you at one time. So don't get upset. It's just about being aware and just being curious. So having self-compassion. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I see there's something on the chat. I'll check you guys out. We're gonna get you guys set up here so you can go. We can probably get you going on at least the tortilla and one of the frittatas, because I know, we're already a half an hour almost over, so we want to keep you guys going. So thank you, guys. Go ahead and go go like 1 minute first. To cook it, I did like 44 seconds. So let me see what this chat is, guys. I see we have a chat. So I've got distilled white vinegar. Those will work. Good, Patrick. Awesome. Okay, mindfully was better, enjoyed more. Awesome, yummy. Okay, great, guys. So thank you so much. Go ahead and send in the chat if you got questions. Otherwise, I'm going to go get these guys set up for food.